Listen to this music. What kind of game do you think about? It seems like this is gonna be one of the calmest, friendliest and nicest games that you've ever played, right? Right. Except for it's the hardest platformer ever made and you're gonna lose your mind playing it! This is Rayman 1. My dad brought that game home when I was 4 years old, and I haven't beaten the game till I was like 12 or 13. No kidding. But what makes that game so difficult, and why do I still consider it to be one of the best 2D platformers of all time? I'm about to tell you right now. Chapter 1. The development. Did you know that Rayman wasn't originally planned for the PlayStation 1 but for a different console? No, I'm not talking about this exotic piece of technology. It was actually planned for the Super Nintendo. It was that far in development that there's even prototypes that are open to public nowadays. But I'm quite happy that this version didn't get released, because otherwise we probably wouldn't have gotten one of the best platformers of all time. Because let's compare this to this. The game finally got released in 1995, and that, my ladies and gentlemen, just made me feel old again. Chapter 2. The graphics. Because the game was already released on the next-gen hardware of the time, the team had the chance to totally create something new that never was seen before, and they totally delivered. I've heard somewhere that the creator of Rayman, Michel Ancel, was actually influenced heavily by the Looney Tunes, and I mean it kind of makes sense, because there's a lot of goofiness, and especially for the time, that was really something different that was happening on the console. First off, everything was kind of shifting towards the 3D world. Everyone tried to get a step into the third dimension. Some platformers got it right, some didn't, but you know, that was the time where everyone tried 3D is where it's at. And also gaming was kind of shifting towards more young adults, you know. The games got darker, got deeper, got more story, got horror elements, but Rayman did this straight opposite of that. It released in a time where that type of game wasn't quite popular anymore. The graphics are full of colors, the soundtrack is full of shenanigans, the enemies have a funny design, and overall there's something so wholesome and soothing to this game. And as I said, that hasn't been matched till today, and I don't think anything better is gonna happen ever in the 2D platforming world to me. Chapter 2. The enemies. Another part that just shows that we're having so much fun creating that game is the design and the abilities of the enemies. I don't care if it's these fishes, these lanky boys right here, or this guy with a gun. And what is he shooting from the gun? Right, bullets. But inside the bullet is a swinging hammer, and that makes it ridiculous again. Why is he having a gun to shoot swinging hammers? That's ridiculous. Does it make sense? No. Is it still fun? Yes. Talking about the enemies, now on to the bosses. And with that, I'm gonna talk about the only thing that isn't that great about Rayman 1, and it's the names of the bosses. They were creative. I mean, Mr. Sax is a saxophone. Mr. Stone is a stone. Mr. Scorps is a scorpion. And what better name for a main villain in a game than Mr. Dark? Quick backstory so you all know what that game is even about. Mr. Dark steals the so-called Big Proton and captures these tiny friendly electrons that are surrounding it. He puts them into cages and they scatter all around Rayman's world. Your goal is to find the Big Proton again and beat Mr. Dark. So enough of that Oscar-worthy crazy story. Let's continue with the bosses and their creative names. The only cool name for a boss is Bzzzt for a mosquito. I think that's kind of clever. And the other mosquito's name is just as creative. Mosquito. And there's actually one female boss as well. I will tell you something right now about that game. They couldn't release that game in 2025 without any backlash. Because first off, the only female boss in the game is named Space Mama, and second off, the fight against her isn't necessarily what I call very feminist. I mean, there is cooking pans, she's using a rolling pin, and the cherry on top is that there is a washing machine. Come on, Michelle! The fights are very creative though. It's not your typical run around and jump on top of the enemy kind of fight. No, you really need to think about what to do, and every single boss you beat them different, and I think that's amazing. Especially with the moveset Rayman has, it's a lot of fun. Chapter 4. The moveset. As I just said, Rayman's moveset is super fun.
Hello there.
It actually is like that because a problem they had during the development of the game. I'm sorry about me saying development the entire time, and I don't think I pronounce it right, but bear with me. Actually, during the development, they were trying to give Rayman arms. Can you imagine that? Rayman with arms? I don't think anyone can ever imagine that. That's kind of cursed. And they couldn't connect the arms to the torso, so they just kept it that way, that he is a limbless hero. And that's kind of cool because that's Rayman's #1 feature that everyone knows about him. He has no limbs. Rayman can run, punch, swing along those rings, and use his hair as a helicopter. Yes, you heard that one right. But here's the catch. You can't do all of that just from the beginning of the game. You need to learn these powers during the entire game. Until like halfway through the game, you can't even run. I'm not kidding, you can't run. But when you play this game, you'll notice, you don't need the run button, and I think that's cool. I think they did a good job with that, because if you don't miss the option, they did everything right, I guess. You wanna know what happens when you hit the run button before you learn how to run though? That's amazing. I just love that sound. Talking about sound, Chapter 5, the music and soundtrack. Wow, that was a great transition. I'm proud of that one. The sound effects and the music of that game are crazy good. The game really benefits from the PlayStation in that you are finally able to program real CD quality music onto your games. And the game took full advantage of it. Here is just some of my favorite examples. And at this point, I want to say rest in peace to Remy Gazelle. I hope I'm saying his name right. And thank you for making my childhood a little bit better with that soundtrack. That man is like Mozart to me, to be honest. Better than Mozart. It's very difficult to beat this soundtrack. And talking about difficult, I'm on fire today with those transitions. Chapter 6, the difficulty. During the game, you need to fight your way through 6 different worlds. And they get progressively harder, but that's not the problem of the game. You wanna know the problem? Okay, quick story. When I was 12 years old, I finally beat what I thought was the last level of the game. But I've never met Mr. Dark, so I was kind of confused. I've never seen any credits as well, or an outro cutscene. But slowly in my mind, I was putting 1 + 1 together. Do you remember I was telling you before about those little cages where the Electoons are in? You have to find every single cage in the entire game. So 100%ing that game isn't an option. It's actually needed to beat the game. And that's where the fun begins. You basically have to play the entire game again. No kidding. There's cages that you can't reach without the powers that you learn later on in the game. And from now on, it's gonna be a lot of backtracking. But wait. The craziest thing is that you actually can't even see all the cages. Yes, you heard that one right. Sometimes you need to touch a specific corner of the screen and you will hear a little audio clue. And that audio clue basically means somewhere on this map, in your area, a new cage appeared. And how do you know where to touch the screen? You simply don't. In later version, they added a little spark where you can see, okay, there is something appearing when I touch this part, but not in the early versions. No, they didn't. Hey guys. So I know I look quite different right now. Let me tell you what happened. So I forgot to record this part of the script, and I noticed now, like 6 weeks later. So hey, I'm gonna record it now, I guess. So only after you collect every single one of these ridiculously well-hidden cages, the last level appears. The Candy Chateau. This level means business. But first off, the good news. There is no cages in this level. But that's already it with the good news. This level is no joke. You need to ride on pants and try not to drown in this lemonade. You need to run away from Dog Rayman, a form of Rayman that Mr. Dog created and that chases you and will kill you one hit. Then you need to play almost an entire level with inverted controls because of this distinguished gentleman right here. And then you get an auto run part where you can't stop running. So you really see they went all out for this last stage. And then finally you stand against the man himself, Mr. Dark. And you still don't fight him because he's a coward and he runs away. Now what? No boss fight? You wish. Now you have to fight every single boss again in a mini boss rush. But the special thing about it is that these are not the normal bosses, but a hybrid version of them. 3 bosses, and everyone is a combination of bosses that you've already beaten during the game. That's some creative shit right there. After beating them, you'll get some cool vacation pictures of Rayman and the homies. And not the homies.
What?
But was that worth the entire journey? Totally! I mean, look at them! Okay, back to long-haired Yoshario for now. Bye. Also, the game overall was pretty unforgiving. But at least the game has a fair life counter, right? Right? The game starts you off with 3 hits and 3 to 4 lives in the PlayStation 1 version. Later versions like the Advance or DSiWare adaptation changed it a bit because even Ubisoft had realized the game is a bit too hard. But as I said, the game is also very unforgiving overall, cause you run into this pit, instant death. You run against an enemy, knockback throws you 500 meters back.
Please help me.
If you did beat your game on the first playthrough without needing to continue, that's a real gamer moment right there. I know nobody on their first playthrough that didn't use the 99 lives cheat to beat the entire game. And honestly, I can't blame them, to be honest. Every now and then I pop my copy of Rayman 1 into the PlayStation and just have a fun time with it and relive all the good, nostalgic memories, but also all the frustration that I had playing that game for the first time because I forgot again where all the cages are. But still, this game is a solid 10 out of 10 to me. And to me, it's the best Rayman game ever. Or is there a better one? So guys, let me know in the comments what your favorite Rayman game is, and I'm gonna accept and respect everything. Yes, I'm even gonna accept that. I'm still gonna cry when it's that, but I'm gonna accept and respect it. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I would love you all to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like that. Comment down below what video you want to see next about weird gaming stuff. I probably will make it and shout you out, so you never know. So till next time, God bless you all, stay healthy, see y'all.